If you had seen us from the outside, you'd think we were the perfect family. The Petersons, your classic American dream. White picket fence, a golden retriever named Max home-cooked meals every Sunday. Mom was a nurse, Dad ran a small construction company, and I was the youngest of three. Emily, 18. Quiet, observant, the sweet one. The one nobody worried about. And then there was Samantha, my older sister. She was loud, charming, popular. Voted prom queen, cheer captain, and always surrounded by admirers. Including, apparently, mine. I didn't always feel like I was living in her shadow. At least not until Jake came into my life. Jake was magnetic. He wasn't the hottest guy in school, but there was something about him. That smile, that voice, the way he made me feel like I was the only girl in the room, even with Sam standing right there. We met in junior year. He saw me drawing in the library and asked to sit. That moment changed everything. Or so I thought. We started dating a few months later. At first, it was sweet. Text in the morning. Walks after school. Stolen kisses behind the bleachers. I had never felt more seen, more wanted. My parents liked him. My brother Liam was protective but chill about it. And Samantha, she laughed it off at first. You and Jake? Cute, she'd say with a smirk. But something in her tone made my stomach twist. You see, Sam had this thing. She didn't like when someone else got attention. Even if she had no interest in the guy herself, she needed to know she could take him if she wanted to. I used to think that was just her way. Now I think it was the first red flag I ignored. I remember the first time I saw them too close. It was our pool party that summer. Jake came over early to help set up. I had just run upstairs to grab towels, and when I came back down, I found them laughing by the grill. Her hand on his arm. His smile a little too wide. I brushed it off. Siblings get flirty sometimes, right? I mean, not like that, obviously. But maybe I was being paranoid. Except it kept happening. Little moments, little signs. Jake would suddenly be texting more, but not me. Sam would mention him in passing like they'd had some inside joke. I caught her wearing my hoodie, the one Jake gave me. Once I confronted her. Why are you always around him? I asked. She laughed. Relax, Em. He's cute, but not my type. You really think I'd go after your boyfriend? God, get a grip. I wanted to believe her. She was my sister. We shared a room, secrets, blood. Why would she betray me? But deep down, something inside me shifted. I started watching, listening. I stopped being the naive little sister. I started being the quiet detective. By the time senior year started, I was living in a constant state of unease. Jake would cancel plans last minute. Samantha would get mysterious study calls and vanish into her room. And when I passed their rooms in the hallway, I'd swear I heard whispering. Sometimes laughter. Sometimes silence that felt too heavy. I tried talking to Jake once. Do you still love me? I asked one night. He looked at me like I was crazy. Of course I do, babe. What kind of question is that? Then he kissed me. Soft, slow, deliberate. But instead of melting like I used to, I felt cold. Like I was kissing a stranger wearing Jake's face. The night everything snapped into place was supposed to be normal. We were watching a movie, just me and Jake, and I excused myself to get popcorn. When I came back, his phone buzzed. I didn't mean to look, the screen was lit. A message preview. You still thinking about last night? From Sam. My blood froze. My hands shook. But I didn't say a word. Instead, I sat down next to him, passed him the popcorn, and smiled. Want to stay over tonight? I asked. He grinned, oblivious. You sure? I nodded, because I had a plan. That night, I barely slept. Jake lay beside me, breathing slow, his arm draped across my waist like nothing was wrong. Like my world wasn't quietly collapsing beneath me. His phone, still buzzing on the nightstand, was like a ticking bomb. But I didn't check it again. I didn't need to. I had all the proof I needed. The way he smiled when she texted, the message itself, the gut feeling that had been gnawing at me for months. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I stared at the ceiling, my heart pounding not from grief, but from the beginning of something colder, sharper, strategic. If they thought I was just the sweet little sister, they had no idea who they were messing with. The next morning, I played it perfectly. Pancakes, a kiss on the cheek, laughter at Jake's stupid jokes. Sam passed us in the hallway wearing a towel and her signature smug look. Did you two have fun last night? She asked, sipping her coffee like she wasn't texting him dirty messages behind my back. Jake chuckled. Always. I wanted to slam that mug into her perfect teeth. Instead, I smiled. We watched that horror movie you hate. You'd have screamed your head off. She didn't flinch. You know me so well. God, she was good. But I was better. That weekend, my parents went out of town for a mini anniversary trip. Liam was away at college. The house was ours, and that was exactly what I needed. I told Jake we should throw a low-key hangout, just him, me, and maybe some friends. But really, I needed him comfortable, unaware, trapped, and I needed her alone. Friday night arrived. Jake came over first, flowers in hand, that stupid charming grin on his face. He kissed me like he meant it. Maybe part of him did. Maybe part of him actually loved me. But love doesn't stop betrayal. While he showered, I went to work. I grabbed my old iPad, connected it to the security camera app we never used. Dad had installed a few cameras after a break-and scare last year. One in the hallway, one in the living room, and one hidden in the office, aimed at the door. No one really remembered they existed, except me. I adjusted them, angled them, and turned on recording. Then I went to Sam's room. She was brushing her hair, humming to herself, wearing one of those tiny crop tops she knew made her look good. "You look cute," I said. She raised her brow. "Okay, weird compliment. What do you want?" I gave her a playful look. "Just, thanks. For not making things awkward with Jake. I know it's been tense." She blinked. "Wait, what? Tense? Between me and him?" I tilted my head. "You two talk a lot." She shrugged. "He's around. And I'm not going to ignore your boyfriend like he's furniture." "Fair. But fake." I smiled. "I just wanted to say I trust you." And in that moment, I saw something flicker behind her eyes. Guilt? Doubt? Triumph? I wasn't sure. Yet, I went back downstairs and waited. Jake came down in that hoodie I loved, the one he gave me on our 6-month anniversary. He wrapped his arms around me from behind as I poured drinks. "You okay?" he whispered. "Perfect," I said. "Tonight's going to be unforgettable." And it was. I left them alone for 15 minutes. Said I needed to grab chips from the store. Left my phone recording, propped up behind the lamp in the living room, facing the couch. And I checked the hallway cam from the app in the car, heart racing. There they were, sitting too close, laughing too loud. Then she touched his chest. He didn't pull away. She leaned in. He didn't stop her. I gripped the steering wheel like I was trying to break it. My heart didn't ache. It burned. Not from heartbreak, from clarity. It was real. They were doing this. And now, I had the footage. I drove around the block once, calmed my face, slowed my breath, then came home like nothing had happened. They were apart when I walked in, Jake on the couch, Sam in the kitchen. But I knew what had happened, and I knew what I was going to do next. I didn't sleep that night either, but not because I was hurt. I was awake because I was watching. 3 angles, 1 betrayal. From a hallway cam, I saw Samantha pause outside her room, checking her reflection in the mirror like she was heading to a date, not just hanging out with her little sister's boyfriend. From the living room cam, I saw Jake scoot over on the couch after I left, saw him casually drape his arm behind her, pretending it was friendly. I watched her lean in and whisper something in his ear. I couldn't hear it, but his smile said enough. From the phone camera I left on the side table, I saw the moment everything changed. She touched his chest, his hand grazed her thigh. She bit her lip, and then they kissed. It wasn't long, but it was long enough to burn itself into my brain. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I downloaded the video, saved copies to 3 different devices, and emailed one to myself, just in case. Then I looked at the frozen frame where their lips touched and whispered, "You really thought I wouldn't find out." The next morning, it was quiet. I made waffles. Jake came downstairs first, looking way too happy for someone who just cheated. He hugged me from behind like nothing happened. Smells amazing." I forced a laugh. "It's your favorite, remember?" He kissed the side of my head. "You're the best." I had to stop myself from breaking the plate in my hand. Then Sam walked in, no shame, no guilt, just barefoot in her sleep shirt, yawning like she hadn't just destroyed her own sister's trust. "Morning," she said, sitting beside Jake at the table, too close again. "Sleep well?" I asked, smiling. She blinked. "Yeah, why?" "Just wondering. You know, after last night." Jake tensed a little. Barely, but I noticed. "What's with the attitude?" Sam said, raising an eyebrow. "No attitude, just waffles," I said, placing their plates down with a little extra force. I knew they weren't stupid enough to do anything obvious now. But that was the thing about liars. They don't stop lying. They get sloppy when they think they're safe. That afternoon, I waited until Jake left. Then I texted Sam. "Emily, hey, want to hang out? Just us?" She took a while to respond. "Samantha, sure, I'm free after 5. Perfect. I picked a neutral spot, the frozen yogurt place downtown. Public, bright, friendly. She showed up wearing her usual confidence, sunglasses on, phone in hand, like she was walking onto the set of some CW drama. "What's this about?" she asked, sliding into the booth. "Just wanted to talk, sister to sister." She looked suspicious. "You're being weird lately. What's going on?" I took out my phone and placed it on the table. Paused. Let the tension sit. Then I opened the video. Let it play. No sound. Just the kiss, the touch, the moment. Her face drained of color. "What the hell is this?" I didn't blink. "You tell me." She reached for the phone. I pulled it back. "Don't even try," I said coldly. "I have copies." "Emily, it's not what it looks like." I laughed. "You're kissing my boyfriend. Want me to draw a diagram?" She looked around, then leaned in. Okay. It was stupid. We were drunk. You weren't. I watched the whole thing. Sober. Conscious. Calculated." She was sweating now. "Please don't tell Mom and Dad. It didn't mean anything." "It meant something to me," I said quietly. I didn't think you'd find out." That was the moment it hit me. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she got caught. I stood up, phone in hand. "This isn't about Mom and Dad. This is about me, and you, and what comes next." She looked up at me, finally nervous. "What do you mean?" "You'll find out soon enough." Then I walked out, and I swear for the first time in my life, Samantha wasn't the one in control. I didn't go home right away. After meeting Sam, I sat in my car in the frozen yogurt parking lot, staring at nothing, just breathing, letting the ice inside me settle. You'd think betrayal like this would hurt, but honestly, I felt free. For months, I'd been doubting myself, second-guessing everything, wondering if I was imagining things. Now I had the truth. And now, Jake was next. I waited until Sunday. Jake and I had plans to go to his cousin's birthday BBQ, a dumb excuse for his family to drink beer and show off their pool. Normally, I'd tag along, smile for his aunts, listen to his dad's war stories, and sneak off with him for a kiss behind the shed. Not today. Today, I had other plans. Jake picked me up right on time, blasting music like nothing was wrong. He reached over to squeeze my hand. "You look gorgeous," he said. I smiled, turned to him, and asked softly, "Do you love me?" He blinked. Yeah, of course I do. Where's this coming from?" "Just checking." He relaxed, laughed a little. "Weirdo." "Yeah, weird of me to confirm whether my boyfriend is cheating with my sister. So strange. Never made it to the BDQ. Halfway there, I asked him to stop by my favorite park. There's a little hidden area behind the trees, a wooden bench, a view of the river, birds chirping like something out of a movie. He parked without question. "What's going on?" he asked. "Are you okay?" I sat on the bench and patted the seat beside me. He joined, looking puzzled. I pulled out my phone, opened the video. No words, just silence, birds, and betrayal. He stared at the screen like he didn't understand what he was watching. Then came the line. "Is this some kind of joke?" I turned to him. "Do I look like I'm laughing?" He swallowed. Hard. "It's not what it looks like." God. Why do cheaters always say that? "You kissed her, Jake." "I was drunk. You weren't." "She came on to me. And you didn't stop her." "It was one time." I stared at him, cold and still. "So you admit it?" He froze. That's when it hit him. He just confirmed it. Out loud. To me. I stood up. "We're done." "Emily, wait, please." "Done?" It meant nothing. It meant everything, I said. He grabbed my wrists. I pulled back. "Don't touch me." His voice cracked. "She's your sister, Em. You don't understand how confusing." "Oh, I understand perfectly," I said. "You wanted something easy, something secret, something exciting." I stepped closer, inches from his face. "You were never going to tell me. You were going to keep smiling, keep kissing me, keep lying." He had nothing to say. Just guilt and fear sitting in his eyes like two heavy stones. "I was good to you, Jake. I believed in you. I let you in. And you destroyed that for what? A cheap thrill?" Still silent. I shook my head. "Don't worry. I'm not going to ruin your life." He looked hopeful. "But I am going to ruin your peace." That was the last thing I said before I walked away. Left him there, alone, in that stupid park. He called after me. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. He already knew he lost. By the time I got home, I had already blocked him on everything. Deleted our photos, cleared out his texts. But I wasn't done, because this wasn't just about Jake anymore. Samantha thought she could crawl out of this untouched. She was wrong. The thing about Samantha was she never expected consequences. She was always the girl who got away with it. She'd lie, manipulate, even cry on cue, and people would forgive her. Teachers, friends, even our parents. But not me. Not anymore. That night, I sat in my room and stared at the video again. Not to torture myself, to remind myself why I was doing this. Why she didn't deserve a quiet escape. Why she didn't get to walk around like everything was fine, while I stayed silent and shattered. I opened Instagram. My hands didn't even shake. I uploaded a single story. Muted video, no caption. Just a short, looped clip of her kissing Jake. The moment their lips met, the look in their eyes, the betrayal in motion. It was subtle, only a few seconds, but enough for anyone who knew them to recognize both faces immediately. I didn't tag them. I didn't need to. Within 6 minutes, I had 10 DMs. Is that Sam? Wait, is that Jake? Emily, WTF is going on? Then the story got shared. By mutuals, by school friends, by people who had no business sharing anything. But of course they did. That's high school. It spread like fire. Samantha came storming into my room at 11:42 p.m. Hair wild, phone in hand, red in the face. What did you do? I didn't even flinch. I told the truth. You post a date. Do you realize what you've done? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I ruin your reputation? I said, dripping with sarcasm. She screamed, actual tears in her eyes. And for once, they weren't fake. Everyone's messaging me. Jake's freaking out. Mom and Dad saw it. I raised an eyebrow. Did you tell them it wasn't what it looked like? Her face contorted. You're insane. No, I'm just done being your doormat. She tried to reach for my phone. I pulled it back. Touch me again, and I swear. She backed off. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. Not the kind of fear that comes from getting caught. The kind that comes from not having control anymore. You humiliated me, she whispered. I stood up. You betrayed me. Jake didn't mean anything. That's supposed to make it better? She didn't answer, because she knew there was nothing left to say. The next morning, it got worse. People at school were staring, whispering. Even teachers seemed to know. Jake didn't show up. Samantha did, in oversized sunglasses and a hoodie, walking like a ghost through the halls that once worshipped her. I didn't smile, but I didn't feel bad either, because now she knew what it felt like to be on the outside. At lunch, someone came up to me. Madison, one of Samantha's former best friends. We weren't close, but she looked genuinely shaken. I'm sorry, Em. I didn't know she'd do that to you. I nodded. Yeah, me neither. She's always been like this, though. She just never got caught. That part hit deep. Because it was true. Sam had built her life around being the favorite, the flawless one. No one ever looked too closely. No one ever called her out. Until now. Later that day, I found Samantha in the girls' bathroom. Alone. Sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest. For a moment, I felt something. Not pity, not sympathy. Just history. We used to sit like that together during storms. She'd hold my hand and tell me stories to distract me from thunder. She used to braid my hair while we watched cartoons. She used to be my sister. Why'd you have to post it? She asked quietly, not looking up. I leaned against the wall, because you wouldn't have stopped, and I deserved better. She nodded slowly. Everyone hates me now. Not everyone, just the ones who know the truth. She wiped her eyes. I messed up. Yeah, I said, you did. Silence. Do you think we'll ever be okay again? She whispered. I didn't answer, because I didn't know. I thought I was ready for the fallout. I thought I'd brace myself for what would happen once the truth was out. But nothing prepares you for the sound of your mother crying in the kitchen at 7:30 a.m. Not from grief, but from disbelief. How could you let it get to this? Why would you post something like that? We're family, Emily. Those were her first words when I came downstairs the next morning. No, are you okay? No, I'm sorry this happened to you. Just guilt. Redirected. Projected. Samantha sat at the table, arms crossed, eyes red, but face stony. She wasn't crying anymore. She'd slipped back into her favorite role, the victim. Dad stood at the sink, silent. That's how I knew he was angry. When Dad gets loud, he's frustrated. When he goes quiet, that's when he's about to break. You humiliated your sister, Mom snapped, pointing a trembling finger at me. I blinked. She slept with my boyfriend. Million of fat. I saw it, Mom. I have video. Samantha flinched. Dad turned his head, jaw tight. They didn't sleep together, Mom insisted. It was just a kiss, a mistake. I stared at her in disbelief. Would you be this calm if it were me kissing Jake behind Sam's back? Silence. Exactly. Dad finally spoke. Where's the video? I deleted it. I lied. I didn't. Of course I didn't. But I wasn't going to drag this on in front of my mother, who clearly still thought loyalty was more important than accountability. Then this ends now, he said. Does it? I asked, because it hasn't even started for me. Mom walked toward me. Emily, you've embarrassed this entire family. This isn't how we handle things. I shook my head. No, Mom. This is exactly how we've always handled things, by covering them up, ignoring them, pretending everything's fine while one person gets away with everything. I looked directly at Samantha. I'm done pretending. She looked away. I left the room without another word. I heard Mom calling after me, but I didn't stop, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid to walk away from them. I wasn't afraid to be the problem child. Because sometimes telling the truth makes you look like the villain to people who are committed to the lie. Liam called later that night. What the hell happened? I filled him in. The party. The kiss. The footage. The silence from Mom. The look on Dad's face. He didn't interrupt once. When I was done, he exhaled. I always knew she had a messed up way of handling things, but Dan M. She didn't even apologize. She probably never will. Silence. I'm proud of you, he finally said. I almost cried then, not because of the words, but because I hadn't heard them from anyone else. Thanks, Liam. What are you going to do now? I looked around my room, at the posters, the sketchbooks, the walls that used to feel like home. I don't know, but I'm not staying quiet. Later that night, I posted one more story. Black screen. White letters. Sometimes family isn't blood. It's truth. I didn't tag anyone. Didn't name names. But everyone knew. Especially her. The next morning, Samantha didn't come down for breakfast. Dad didn't speak. Mom was quiet, stiff. And I finally felt seen. Maybe not by them, but by myself. I used to think healing meant forgiveness. Letting go, moving on, being the bigger person. But healing, I've learned, is messier than that. It's not graceful. It's not polite. Sometimes healing's ugly, loud, lonely. Sometimes healing's finally choosing yourself, even if it makes everyone else uncomfortable. The Monday after everything exploded, I walked into school without my usual hoodie. Hair up, head high. Not because I wanted attention, but because I refused to shrink anymore. People stared. Some whispered. But no one laughed, and that was enough. Jake tried to talk to me in the parking lot. He waited by my car like nothing had happened, like we were still us. Emily, please. Can we just talk? I didn't break stride. We did that already. I messed up. You chose to mess up. It didn't mean anything. I stopped and turned to him. That's the difference between us, Jake. When I love someone, I don't do things that don't mean anything to other people. He looked down. People make mistakes. Yeah, I said, and you're mine. I walked past him and didn't look back. By Wednesday, Samantha had deleted her Instagram. Rumor had it she was staying home sick, but I knew better. She wasn't sick. She was ashamed. Maybe for the first time in her life. And while part of me thought I should feel guilty, I didn't. Because for once, she was finally seeing the consequences she spent years outrunning. I started focusing on things I used to love. My sketchbook, volunteering at the animal shelter, going on walks without music, just the sound of my feet and the wind. I even joined the art club, something I'd always wanted to do but never did because Sam said it was lame. It wasn't lame. It was freeing. I made new friends. Started laughing again, real laughter, not the nervous kind you use to fill silence. And little by little, I stopped feeling broken. Mom was still cold at home. Short sentences, quiet glances, like she didn't know how to talk to me anymore. But Dad was trying. He brought home my favorite ice cream, asked about school, fixed my old bookshelf without being asked. He never said the words, but sometimes actions speak louder than apologies. Liam texted me daily. Did you eat today? Wanting to come down this weekend? Also, you're a badass. He was my anchor. My reminder that I did have family, just not always the ones who lived under the same roof. One night, as I was brushing my teeth, there was a knock at the bathroom door. Samantha's voice. Can we talk? I stared at my reflection. My face didn't flinch. My eyes didn't waver. Not tonight, I said calmly. Please, just 5 minutes. Even if 5 years. She didn't respond. Eventually, her footsteps faded down the hallway, and I finally exhaled. Because that was the moment I knew I wasn't afraid of her anymore. That weekend, I submitted one of my drawings to a regional art competition, a piece I'd been working on in secret. It was a girl standing in the center of a forest fire surrounded by ash and smoke, holding a match. The caption: "Sometimes you have to burn what hurt you to grow what heals you." It's funny how people assume those two are the same. That to get closure, you have to strike back. That revenge is some kind of healing. But I learned that real power is in walking away without leaving pieces of yourself behind. And that revenge, it can rot you from the inside if you hold it too long. A week after everything went down, Samantha finally came to me again. Not screaming, not blaming, just quiet. She stood in my doorway, eyes raw, no makeup, hoodie 3 sizes too big. "I'm not here to fight," she said. I said nothing. I know I don't deserve to be forgiven. Still nothing. But I wanted you to know I was jealous of you. That made me look up. Her voice cracked. "You were always calm, kind. Everyone trusted you. Jake didn't even like me like that. He just liked the game." She sat on the floor, like the old days. "I spent my whole life trying to be perfect, popular, pretty, but it never felt like enough unless someone else didn't have it." She finally looked up. "I hated that you were happy with something I couldn't control." There it was, the real truth. Not an excuse, a confession. I didn't cry, but I also didn't gloat, because part of me, the small part that still remembered bedtime stories and sister sleepovers, wanted to believe this was real, that maybe she was growing up too. "You don't have to forgive me," she whispered. "Good," I said, "because I'm not there yet." She nodded. "I get it." Silence. Then I asked, "Why now?" "Because I saw the drawing you posted," she said. "The one with the fire." I raised an eyebrow. "You liked it?" "No. It scared me." She stood up, voice steady. "Because I realize you're not the same anymore, and I have enough of you're becoming, but she terrifies me a little." I looked at her, really looked, and said, "Good." After she left, I felt something shift. Not closure, but clarity. The next few weeks were quiet. Jake transferred schools. Samantha kept her head down. I focused on art, on friends who made me laugh, on myself, not in a cliche self-love kind of way, but in a disciplined way. I showed up for myself, every day. I didn't need validation anymore. I didn't need apologies to heal. I didn't even need revenge. Just freedom. One evening, I got an email. The art competition judges, my piece sent one first place. They called it a haunting expression of betrayal turned into rebirth. I stared at that sentence for a long time, then smiled, because they were right. I hadn't just survived what happened. I'd become someone because of it. Someone stronger, smarter, still kind, but no longer quiet. People say betrayal changes you. But here's what they don't say. Sometimes that change is exactly what you needed. The end.